just basic hacking. And is up until about 5-10 years ago, he was like the #1 wanted hacker by the FBI because they thought he could like whistle into a phone with one of those whistles you'd get in a cereal box, like the whistles, and he could whistle into a phone and launch a nuclear weapon because he was just that good, which is all bull. It could never happen. But that's how back in, the 80s, everyone was so terrified of computers and what kind of thing that was going to do to all of us. But it's all about his life between then and now, and all the crap that he went through and all the different stuff that he did, and how brilliant he really is, how smart he is when it comes to computers, and something called social engineering, which is it's sales times 30. So it's being a good salesman, but being a really, really good salesman and doing it for, maybe not for good. But the guy, he's just awesome. I watched tons of stuff online on him, and then I bought his audiobook too, and he's just a really, really interesting guy. And the stuff that happened to him back in the 80s and early 90s, how he got thrown, because one of the FBI agents said it's possible for Kevin Mitnick to pick up the phone, dial NORAD, and launch nuclear weapons. We need to put him away. So they threw him in the hole in a small, tiny cell with 4 concrete walls by himself for a year because they thought he could launch a nuclear weapon that way, which is absolutely impossible because NORAD isn't connected to the networks at all, right? It's just totally its own. It's just a computer sitting there that's not connected to any network. And he had to sit there by himself, and the government was so terrified that he could actually do this that they didn't release him because they thought that's what's going to happen. And just listen to his stories, and it's just anyone that's listening to this show is somewhat technical and interested in this stuff. It's really cool. It's just a really interesting guy.
Huh.
Yeah. I was going to say, the social engineering thing, like Chris said, it's genius manipulation without any effort, it appears.
What do you mean? I don't get it.
He's able to, for instance, this is a low level one. He's able to walk into a pizza joint and basically get them to give him a free pizza without weapons, without guns, without forceful talk, without threats, without anything else. He knows how to talk to people to give them the impression everything he's saying is honest. You need to listen to him. He's right, and he gets stuff. I mean, he can get access to buildings.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So say he wanted to get into, say, the Yellow Pages, okay? So he wanted an account on the Yellow Pages network. He wanted to have a user account on the Yellow Pages network, pretended like he works there. He would call up and find out. So the first call he'd make, he'd call up and find out an employee. Okay, thank you for the employee. Hang up. He'd call back pretending to be that employee and go, can I talk to someone in HR? And he talked to someone in HR and go, hey, I'm Jimmy Smith. I work for the Yellow Pages. You just hired me. And they go, oh, hey, Jimmy. Oh, I forgot my employee number. And they'd be like, oh, what's your mother's maiden name? And you go, oh, I don't know. Let me call you back. And then somehow he would call someone else and find out the mother's maiden name. Then he'd call back again to the Yellow Pages and go, the mother's maiden name is Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, great. Here's your employee number. He'd give him the employee number. Then he'd hang up. Then he would call again and go call the switchboard and go, can I talk to someone in your IT section? And they go, okay, and they transfer through and they go, hey, this is Jane in IT. And Jane has a really deep voice for some reason. and then you go, hey, I'm Jimmy and my employee number is 444945. And they'd go, oh yeah, hi Jimmy. And you go, oh, I forgot password to my account. And they'd go, oh, well, what do you mean you forgot the password? Okay, well, what's your mother's maiden name? But he already knew that because he had to get it to get the thing. Oh, it's Janie. Oh, there you go. Oh, no problem. Here's your new account password. Oh yeah, oh great. And then he'd be able to hack into the Yellow Pages and get all the information he wanted because he had all the information through some quick social engineering and manipulation. And that was really basic what I just said. Obviously sometimes it would take 100 phone calls or whatever, but that's how he would do it. And he got really, 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 really good at it, like amazingly good. And he hacked into Sun Microsystems this way. He's hacked into Microsoft. He hacked into every company you could possibly imagine, big companies.
What was his purpose?
He would get to get the source code for their operating systems, not to sell, not to give to somebody, just because he wanted to have it. He wanted it. He never made a nickel on any of his hacking or engineering. He just wanted it. He liked the high of it. You know, like I want to drink 4 beers. He wanted to go in there and steal their source code, read the source code. And then what he would do by getting the source code is figure out the exploits and then exploit the system so he could get more information. And it was just, download his book from Audible. It's like $16 or something. I know
What's
it's a
it
lot
called?
for some people.
Is it The Art of Deception?
No,
Yeah.
that's a different
No?
one.
Okay.
No, that's The Art of Deception. No, it's Ghost in the Wire. It's called Ghost in the Wire. Is his newest book, and that's the one about his life from when he started till today. And I just finished it. And it's really, really good.
Aha.
Wow, that's awesome, Chris. I can't wait to read that book. And now is this the same? This is the same guy that was on Tech TV years
Yeah.
ago, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden he was arrested for like using a Pringles can outside of a bank
Yep,
or
same
something
guy.
like that.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I can't.
and-
Yeah,
He was on
So
Tech
good.
TV as like a normal guest.
he was a guest.
No,
yeah,
Yeah, Leo had him on because he knew that he was like being tracked by the government. And Leo was like,
Chase.
"Oh yeah,
Yeah.
poor guy, poor hacker." Because Leo's like, hackers aren't bad; they're just hackers, right? They're inquisitive and they want
Right.
to check stuff out. So he's always sort of on the hacker side. And this was just one of the hackers. But Kevin Mitnick is the hacker. He's like the
Right.
guy.
Right. They had
Yeah.
on Triangulation on Twit, because I finally got it hooked up to my Roku and I've been watching it again. Triangulation is cool because it's Leo and Tom Merritt. They basically just get on the show anybody who they've ever wanted to talk to, and they get some pretty cool people. But they had Captain Crunch from the Whistle
Oh,
guy.
Lord.
The actual guy who got the name of being able, because he was a phone freaker too.
Right.
And he
Yep.
would actually, the cereal he got the whistle out of that you were talking about earlier was Captain Crunch. And
Right.
if you blew that into the phone, it was the exact frequency you needed to get access to long distance phone calls.
So they had Kevin Mitnick too. If you watch a couple ones later, they had Mitnick
Oh, really?
on Triangulation. Yeah.
But you know what I think was
Talking about his
cool?
new
You
book.
know what I think was cool about because I listened to Waz's book, I Was on Audible.
Yeah, I
and
listened to that
he
too.
talked about Captain Crunch and
Yeah.
what's his name? John Draper or something like that. John Draper.
Something like that.
Right.
Well, it was cool
Yeah.
hearing Draper talk about Jobs and Wozniak, because Leo was asking, well, how was Steve Jobs back then? He's like, yeah, Jobs didn't really care for me. He didn't really talk to me that much. He didn't really like me. All these things about Jobs. And what about Wozniak? Oh, me and Woz got along great. I mean, we were
Yeah.
hackers and
Well, yeah, I
There's a-
remember one story where Woz in the back of his van had boxes and boxes that were actually phone freaking devices,
blue boxes,
Where he-
they were called.
Yeah,
Blue
blue
boxes,
boxes.
where he was able to like semi-automate
Yeah.
parts of the hacking.
And he went to sell them with Jobs.
Right.
And they were in a van, and they were selling these things, and the van broke down, and I think the cops pulled him over, or the van broke down. The cops opened up the back of the van, saw all those boxes back there, and they're like, "What are these things?" And Woz goes, "They're synthesizers."
Yeah.
And the cop's like, "You mean like a Moog synthesizer?" "Yeah, they make music." And that was it. That I totally handled the cop. "Oh, I know what they are." He's like, the cop is like, so it's a cool. I would recommend the Woz book too. But that's when you said phone freaking, it kind of brought me back to that. I bought
Yeah,
a
and if-
Kevin Mitnick book, but I didn't read it yet. I want to read it. I bought The Art of
The
Deception.
art. He's got a few. Yeah, The Art of Deception. He's got 2 of them, and another really good show. And this isn't about Mitnick in general, but it's just about what you guys are talking about, Captain Crunch and Woz and all those guys. It's called Can You Hack It? It's a really good documentary about all these guys.
Is that
not-
available on? Never mind.
I'm not exactly sure the channels I got it through. I'm pretty sure I rented it from Blockbuster.
Oh, don't make me laugh.
So yeah, Can You Hack It? It's called,
Okay.
and it's really anyone that's into that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
interesting.
It's actually
kinda-
not named that. It was originally named that. Name got changed to Hackers Wanted. It's a movie that will
right,
never
right.
be released anywhere.
That's right. So you can download it. I remember reading something saying they want you to steal it. Shall I say? They want you to take
Well,
it.
no. I mean, somebody calls it theft, but it actually, in my eyes, can't be theft because it's never released to be available for sale. So
It's a super,
so it can't
super,
be theft? I love your
super
reasoning,
good
Bill.
documentary.
And
It's
that's
really
what-
interesting though.
Yeah.
And there's another one too, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. And I'm just looking through all my videos right now on my hard drive. It's one actually about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and it was an actual movie.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was something.
Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pirates of Silicon. Now that was not fantastic, but it's okay. It's still like I love all these kind of movies. Because obviously we're geeks, right? So all these movies are somewhat entertaining to me, and that one's a good one too to watch if you haven't seen it.
I like that one.
Yeah. That one's good because it's almost scarily accurate, people say.
Yeah, after I watched that, I remember looking over at my Mac laptop and I went, no way, I'm selling this piece of crap. he was such a turd. He was such a turd, Steve Jobs. I was like, you are such a jerk. There's no way. The guy's just such a pecker.
I bet he was. Yeah,
it seems almost like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
But that's what I'm into lately and listening, because I can't remember. I fell behind. I caught way ahead in all my podcasts. Like I was like so far ahead. I had nothing to watch or listen to, and I was like, what am I going to do? And then I downloaded that Audible book because I had a credit just sitting there, and it was super good.
Awesome. Good recommendation.
yeah, I would say real quick, it's funny you mentioned those two because to me, the art of manipulation is really what it comes down to. Steve Jobs and Kevin Mitnick are two master frigging minds of how they're perceived. They know how to make people see them in a certain light. They've just had different goals, I'll say.
I guess so. I think it's kind of different. I mean, Steve Jobs is into marketing. Mitnick isn't. That's not marketing what he was doing.
Well,
he's like professionally lying and being creative about it. Like,
well, you know, he, just like Chris said, he's a salesman times 100.
I gotcha.
It's the same techniques, I'll say, go into it.
Okay.
It's just different end results.
Okay, I get you. I
think about it sometimes when I'm in there talking to a customer. In the back of my head, I think, am I manipulating this person? Like, am I saying something to them to get something I actually want out of it? And of course I am. But it just depends if you are doing it for the wrong reason or the right reason. Right?
Exactly.
You can manipulate to convince someone to do something that's correct. Like, for example, backup.
Yep.
Or you can manipulate somebody to do something that you want just because you want to make some money, like sell them a computer because they need a quad core, 16 gig machine when really all they need is really a dual core with 2 gigs, right? It just totally depends on how you want to do it. And so you make your choices, right?
Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like on Last Podnutz Daily, Jeremy from Fastlane Tech. He heard when he bought a computer at Best Buy, and they asked him if he was Windows Registry certified. And they asked him if he was Windows Registry certified, and he's like, no. And it was like a ploy to get, I think, him to give this computer to the Geek Squad for a registry cleanup. But then he called, so he said no, and he didn't agree to the Geek Squad thing. But then he went home, and it kept bothering him, and he called back, and he goes, how do I become Windows Registry certified? And they go, in a nutshell, they're like, you need to know how to use a registry cleaner. Like that. So if you run CCleaner, you are technically Windows Registry certified. Wow. They made it up, but they used the word Windows in it, which is very deceiving. I mean,
and certified, right? Are you certified? Well, no, I'm not. Can I be?
Right.
Well, yeah. Can you use CC Cleaner? Well, yeah. Well, now you're certified. Well, okay. Yeah.
It's true. I couldn't believe that they actually used Windows in it. That's a brand name. I mean, if they could use, they could say, "Are you Geek Squad certified" or something? But they used Windows Registry, which is an actual thing that they don't own. They don't have the property rights for that, and they were using that in their ploy.
I mean, if they were gonna, give some like side training or something. Oh, you buy a computer here, you get to learn how to use it a little more. We'll come on in on a Saturday afternoon. We'll have a big class and teach you how to do a couple things. That'd be okay. And maybe get a little certification so you can help your uncle or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, Best Buy certified for, using CC Cleaner. That's fine. Right? Yeah. Here's your moron sticker. Should we put that just on the side of your computer, or where would you like us to put that?
That's awesome. All right, I think it's Door's turn, right? Why don't we go one more round real quick, and then we'll do what do you like, what don't you like? Is it Door's turn? Correct me if I'm wrong. I totally lost track.
No, you're right.
Okay.
I don't know. This is a super quickie, Steve, just for you. Yes, it's once again at BuzzFeed, but it's called Meet Stewie, the longest cat in the world.
Whoa, I gotta see this.
Now this is a multi-minute video. They show the cat like jumping on top of counters and stuff because he doesn't have to jump far.
Wow.
God.
Yeah,
He's like
I saw
an
that.
alligator.
And
Guinness Book of World Records. This dude, this cat.
yeah,